So thank you for joining us from wherever the world you are. I'm sitting here in Taipei in our beautiful Mox office. So again, my name is William Baubin. I'm a general partner at SOSV. We started in 1996, and we're a VC fund. We are global. So very few funds are actually global. One of the interesting things about VCs is VCs invest in innovation, but they don't actually get a lot of innovation in VC. So one of the things that's different between us and everyone else is that we are truly global. The second thing that's unique about us is that we're focused on multiple sectors within the fund. So Oscar and I, we run cross-border internet, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But you might be familiar with our hardware platform with Hacks, our biotech platform with IndieBio. And for blockchain, we have a lab based out of New York called D-Lab, where we're bringing some really amazing companies like API3, where we were the first check to the room in the world. So by way of background, over the last, since 1996, since we started as a family office, we started institutionalized in 2015 when I joined, and we've grown our assets under management to $855 million US. We invest in about 140 to 150 companies per year, which means that over the last many years, we've grown to over 1,000 portfolio companies, and we do make money. If you're familiar with IRR, we returned 21%, over 21% on a net basis after our fees and our cut as managers over the last 18 plus years. So that's 21% compounded, which puts us in the top 10% of VCs in the world. In terms of activity, one of the things that makes us quite different from other funds is that we invest in a lot of companies, but we do it globally. So for our 6 investing partners, we invest in companies all around the world. So other VCs, they are global, but they have teams for each geography. And for us, Oscar and I are investing in companies, and you'll meet some of them tonight from everywhere around the world. We are extremely active in the US. We're a US fund. So 2020, we're the number 4 active fund in the US. But the key market for us is Asia, where we are number 5. And breaking that down for cross-border internet, for Chinaccelerator and Mox, and to some extent Hacks, we're the number 8 most active VC in Southeast Asia, where we started getting a lot more aggressive there 4 or 5 years ago, and in India. India is a market I started investing in 2005 with Rediff and Naukri and On Mobile. And over the last 3 years, we've done over 50 investments in India, making this a key focus for cross-border internet. Our strategy, as I mentioned, are different. We have multiple verticals in one fund. So Oscar and I are in a cross-border internet, but for hardware, we are the most active investor in IoT and in robotics and hardware in the world. Under biotech, we're the most active investor in synthetic biology and the future of food, like cellular agriculture. And for cross-border internet, we're the number 5 most active investor in media, and the number 6 most active investor in commercial services, which is basically software. So that gives us a unique position to not only bring amazing startups cross-border and help them expand to Asia, but also to work with our partners, including a large number of corporates. just to do a very brief introduction on Mox. Mox is our consumer platform. And Mox is important because it solves one of the biggest challenges that any consumer entrepreneur has, which is customer acquisition. Customer acquisition cost is quite high. You know, people have to spend $1 to make 50 cents in consumer internet. So unless you're SoftBank backed, or you're one of the big internet companies, consumer internet has negative unit economics. And 5.5 years ago, we set out to solve this. And the way we do that is we give free advertising, free user acquisition to the companies that we work with. And this works because our partners who promote our companies for free, they get revenue share. They become, in effect, super apps. So we're partnered with banks, we're partnered with telcos, we're partnered with handset brands, we're partnered with shopping malls and real estate companies, newspapers and TV stations. And the key for Mox, and you know, this was very strange when we started 5.5 years ago. It's like, oh, you want free advertising? No. So for the first 3.5, 4 years, it was very difficult. It took us a long time, like 4 years, to get from 0 to 6 million monthly active users. But things have really started to take off. Our partners are promoting us more and more. And so our Mox ecosystem of portfolio companies since mid-2019 grew from 6 million monthly active users to mid-2020, 50 million monthly active users. And then just between last August and February of this year, we went from 50 million monthly active users to 102 million monthly active users. So this ecosystem is based on cross promotion and revenue share. And we're disaggregating companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Alibaba and Tencent, and creating a decentralized, not blockchain, but decentralized business ecosystem based on mutual support and mutual interest. So with that, I'm going to kick it back to Oscar and let him introduce what we're doing in enterprise in Chinaccelerator. Oscar.
Thank you, William. Okay, good. So as you saw, Chinaccelerator, we are based in Shanghai. We are obviously investing in China. We have both an RMB investment vehicle and a US dollar vehicle. So we can invest in local companies, but we look at the world from a global point of view. So this past year, we've seen a lot of changes. We've seen how multiple organizations had to go through this so-called digital transformation. A lot of companies had to adopt new technologies to allow them to run faster. For all of us that are based in Shanghai, we see how some of these changes, they were already part of our normal lives. When we talk about digital payments, when we talk about mobile interfaces to connect with services, when we talk about digitalization of traditional industries, that's one of the angles that we have with Chinaccelerator. Shanghai has become, and China in general has become, one of the areas where companies need to bring and lead in terms of digital technology adoption. This is today not only one of the most competitive areas in the world, is one of the fastest growing. So any company that wants to be able to compete and be able to defend their market share in China or enter the market, they need to be very innovative. Innovation here, it's not an option. You are either innovative or you don't have a voice. You cannot have space to play. Certain companies, they innovate in their core product, but core product takes a long, long time. Look at pharma companies. In the last year, we've seen almost every quarter a new multinational opening a digital innovation lab in Shanghai. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking to one of the top 3 FMCG companies in the world, and they said all of our digital transformation is happening here. So what we do is we leverage the relationships that we already have with over 200 multinationals to help our portfolio companies not only secure clients, but actually be able to develop products that those customers want. B2B, anybody that has been in B2B or enterprise, they know that the cycle of adoption is very slow. It takes a lot of time to do that. When you're in a market where your customers, the corporations, they need to run fast, you can slow down that. You can accelerate that. You can be able to have conversations. You are able to get decisions faster. And that leads to clients, that leads to contracts. What is becoming very interesting, and that's where this year really become a moment which was a tipping point, is that all of these companies are realizing that what works sometimes in China, it works in other parts of the world. So increasingly, more and more companies, and today we're going to see some examples of that, are securing their first clients in Shanghai, in China, but those contracts really fast become global contracts. We found a backdoor to enterprise sales by leveraging one of the most competitive areas in the world. So in our portfolio, you'll see companies from multiple different industries. As we were saying, we don't have an industry focus. We're working on education, healthcare, financial services, insurtech, construction technology, manufacturing, anything that is subject to any type of digital transformation. We're able to do that because we have an amazing team working really hard to make things happen, but also because we've been working very closely with a lot of partners. Partners that include organizations like Bridge Plus, that facilitate today having this event, partners that host of our portfolio companies. Some of them, they give them free access to resources. And I'll talk more about that later, but our portfolio companies get over $1 million in free services that they can leverage to continue their growth. And of course, there's also multinationals. All of these multinationals that engage in those conversations very open with us, with our portfolio companies, and then help facilitate POC and eventually move to contracts. So here you have some of these companies. Some of you are present today, so thank you for being part of this process, and thank you for being very open and very supportive with all of those companies. If you want to learn more about Chinaccelerator, if you want to learn more about what's going on in our ecosystem, we're organizing events almost on a weekly basis. Right now, we're leveraging this opportunity to have more global events, to connect with people all over the world. Some of the events are offline, like the one we have today, with always an online component to it, but there's always online events that we're organizing in both English and Mandarin, so you can connect with our ecosystem, and you can get to learn more about what we're doing. And these are some of the people that also help make possible today's event, Bridge Plus, or host today, and also some of the community partners that you're probably part of, and some of the media partners that are promoting this event with all the conversations that we had, not just now, but later. With that, we're reaching the time to